Hey guys, I'm out here in the garden today on the first day of fall to talk to you about change. Change is all around us right now. More specifically, I'm going to be making some changes. I have been inspired. I read several weeks ago, I read an article. It was an article about restorative agriculture, and the article talked about two farms. One was Mark Shepard's New Forest Farm in Wisconsin, but the article talked about, explained the concept of restoration agriculture, or restorative agriculture, or regenerative agriculture, and it struck a chord with me. So strong, so inspiring that it felt like truth. It felt like something clicked in me. And yeah, I've got a vision and I've got a plan. And if you don't know, if you've never heard of restoration agriculture it's changing the way that we do agriculture now, because the way that we do agriculture now is against nature. Huge, monoculture fields of soy and corn. It's just one plant on hundreds of thousands of millions of acres, and that's not how plants and animals and the planet, that's not how it evolved to be, and it's actually not sustainable. The way that we do agriculture now is one of the biggest causes of climate change, and it's got to stop. It's got to change. That was one of the reasons that I was drawn to the homestead movement, and the homestead movement being, people learning how to grow their own food. But regenerative, restorative agriculture changes the way that we, as a country and as a planet, look at agriculture. The essence of it is permaculture, and I've still got a lot to learn about permaculture, but I've really been inspired by Mark Shepard's New Forest Farm in Wisconsin, because New Forest Farm is a commercial scale farm, and what he has done is mimic nature. He's created an ecosystem. He bought 106 acres of degraded, depleted farmland, and he turned it into an ecosystem that all parts of the ecosystem are thriving and working with each other. He based his farm on savanna land by planting native plants that were native to that area and planting them in such a way that paid attention to the whole ecosystem, like the water management, and just, I've still got a lot to learn about it, but basically what he did was mimic how that land used to be before people came to, clear it all out for traditional agriculture. And in doing so, what you find is that, not using any chemical fertilizers, not using any pesticides or herbicides or anything like that. When you have a thriving ecosystem with all these different parts, the problems that you have, pest problems, disease problems, the ecosystem takes care of that. And it might sound a little vague right now, and that's because I've got a lot to learn. But I do know that that's what I want to do. I want to sometime maybe in 5 years. 5 years is kind of like my current goal. In 5 years, I want to be at a place where I can buy a big piece of land, preferably some depleted farmland, and I want to start my own forest farm. And so, yeah, and right now I'm a newbie home gardener. I'm an organic gardener. I'm good at growing certain things, but I have got so much to learn. And so that's what I'm going to do. For the next 5 years, I'm going to learn. And one of my biggest inspirations for this time period is a YouTube channel called Roots and Refuge Farm. If you haven't seen them, definitely go check out their videos. It's Jess and Jeremiah. And one thing that Jess says over and over again is turn your waiting room into a classroom. And what she means by that is, you know, if you want to be a gardener, if you want to grow things, and you're in an apartment right now and all you have is a tiny balcony, turn your waiting room into a classroom. You're in a waiting room and you can learn, like, turn your waiting room into a classroom. Like, start reading, watching videos, try things and experiment with the space that you do have, because while you're in this waiting room, you can learn, so that one day when you move to the next phase of your life and you have more space and time and opportunity, you'll already have all the knowledge and you'll be ready to go. So that's what I'm going to do right now. For the next 5 years, I'm going to enroll in a permaculture design course and learn about land management and irrigation and ecosystems and things like that. And I'm going to read as many books as I can and watch as many videos as I can. And I'm going to get some hands-on experience as well. I'm going to learn about, I'm going to really learn the ins and outs of the organic gardening. I'm really going to get into perennial plants. That's a big thing that I didn't mention about the restorative agriculture, is it's based heavily on perennial plants. Perennial plants being something that you plant once and it lives for years and years, and you get food from it for years and years and years, such as, you know, fruit trees, nut trees, and there are also perennial vegetables and things. And annuals, right now I'm just growing annuals, plants that you have to plant again every year. So I'm going to start learning about perennials. I'm going to try my hand at fruit trees, possibly even nut trees. Since I may not be at this location in 5 years, I might grow my fruit and nut trees in containers. I'm not sure yet. I might plant some in the ground. I'd love to be able to take them with me when I go wherever it is that I'm going. But I'm gonna start trying things, and I'm going to experiment, and I'm going to learn, and I'm gonna turn my waiting room into a classroom. So that in 5 years' time, more or less, I understand that 5-year plans may change, but whenever I move to the next big space, I'll be ready to hit the ground running, and I'll be ready to start this adventure. The reason that I think one of the biggest reasons that I am so fascinated and inspired and ready to do this is that I believe that restorative agriculture is something that I can do to make the world better. If I were to build a restorative forest farm, then I would be part of that movement to change the way that we do agriculture. and part of the movement to, you know, combat global warming. And I want to do something to make the world a better place, to ensure that my daughter, my children, my grandchildren, and future generations have a habitable planet and have food to eat. And so it really hits home. And I'm just deeply struck by how right this feels. The more that I learn, the more excited I get. So that's why I'm making a big change, and I'm changing the name of this YouTube channel from Wild Woman Pantry to The Wild Classroom. Because, yeah, the next 5 years are going to be my classroom, and I'm going to share that with you. The teacher is going to be all around us. And there are so many things to learn. I'm so excited. During the next 5 years, you will also see me, I'm going to travel, I'm going to take trips to all of these different permaculture, restorative farms all over the country that I'm going to visit and learn, so I will take you with me. The newest addition to the Wild Classroom team is Trixie, and Trixie is a 1976 GMC RV, which my husband and I recently found and rescued, and so we bought her last about 2 weeks ago, and we're in the process of getting her shipped to us. She runs, but she needs a little bit of work. She can't make the 2-hour drive from there to here, but Trixie's coming, and you'll get to meet Trixie pretty soon. And for those of you who may have missed it, Trixie is an RV. She's a motorhome. Yeah, so you'll get to see the little bit of work that we do to Trixie. You'll get to see the trips that we take with Trixie. We're going to, yeah, I would love to travel all over the country and learn about permaculture and restorative agriculture, hands-on, in-person, face-to-face. I know that I already have a couple of stops in mind. I want to go to the Baker Creek heirloom seed store. I think that would be really cool to check out the Baker Creek seed store in person, because I've grown so many of their plants. Even though I've only scratched the surface, they have literally all the seeds, amazing seeds. I'm not affiliated with them, by the way, maybe one day, but that would be a cool stop. I also do want to visit New Forest Farm in Wisconsin. So that would be quite a trip for Trixie to make. Who knows what the future holds, you know, like maybe one day I'll be visiting the farms of the people who inspired me on this journey, you know, Jess from Roots and Refuge, you know, Luke at M.I. Gardner, James Prigioni in New Jersey. There are so many. The YouTube gardening community and the homesteading community, the growing community on YouTube, is a really amazing thing, and I'm really, really grateful for my friends and for the people who inspire me on YouTube. And yeah, maybe one day I'll get to visit their farms, their gardens, and learn from them. And yeah, who knows where I'll go who knows where I'll go. But yeah, that's the big secret, that's the big change. I am, henceforth, this channel shall be known as the Wild Classroom, and if you want to come along on this journey with me, I'm also going to share, things from what books about permaculture and restorative agriculture that I'm reading, and I'll share with you any videos, and we can discuss, we can talk in the comments. I would love to hear from you if you have any resources that you want to recommend, or any information that you want to share. I would love for this to become a discussion. I would love for us to learn together. So yeah, come along on this journey with me. It's gonna be good. Happy growing.